Whiskers was a cat. He was not just any cat, he was a very playful cat, you see. He had soft fur, mostly black with white paws like he was wearing little white socks. His eyes were big and green like shiny marbles, and of course he had whiskers. Long white whiskers that twitched all the time. They helped him feel things, especially in the dark. He rather liked his whiskers. They made him feel very important like a proper cat should. He thought they were quite splendid, really. He loved to play more than anything. A piece of string was a grand adventure. A tiny feather was a fierce dragon to be conquered. He would chase his own tail sometimes. Round and round he would go. It was a very silly game, but it made him happy. Sometimes he would even try to catch the sunbeams. Those little spots of light that danced on the floor, they were very tricky to catch, always moving. But Whiskers never gave up trying. He was a determined sort of cat. Whiskers was also a very curious cat. He liked to know about everything. What was that noise? Where did that smell come from? If a door was closed, he simply had to know what was behind it. He would sit and stare at the door. Sometimes he would meow. A little meow, then a louder one. He would pat the door with his paw. "Let me see," he seemed to say. His curiosity often led him into funny situations. Little bits of mischief, you might say. Every morning Whiskers woke up with a big stretch. First one leg, then the other. Then a very big yawn, showing his tiny pink tongue. He was ready for the day, ready for new games to play, ready for new things to explore. His tail would swish from side to side. He was thinking about all the exciting things that might happen. Perhaps a new box to investigate, or maybe a friendly person to give him a tickle under the chin. Life was full of possibilities for Whiskers. Whiskers lived in a lovely house. It was a very cozy house indeed. There was a warm kitchen, which always smelled of nice things. Sometimes, if he was lucky, a little bit of fish. Or perhaps a saucer of milk, just for him. The living room had a big, soft sofa. It was perfect for naps, especially when the sun shone through the window, making a warm patch, just the right size for a cat. He would curl up and purr very loudly there. His most favorite spot inside the house was the big window. It was like his own special television. He could sit on the windowsill for ages, watching the world go by outside. He saw birds hopping on the grass, little brown sparrows and fat pigeons. He saw leaves blowing in the wind, swirly-twirly leaves in autumn. Sometimes he saw other cats walking past. He would watch them very carefully. His whiskers would twitch. He wondered where they were going. But even better than the window was the garden. Oh, the garden was a wonderful place. It was full of exciting smells. The smell of damp earth after rain, the smell of sweet flowers in the summer. There were so many things to pounce on. Little beetles scurrying along, butterflies fluttering among the plants. He would crouch down low, wiggling his bottom, then pounce. Sometimes he caught something. Sometimes he just tumbled in a heap. It was all part of the fun. In the corner of the garden there was an old wooden shed. The shed was a place of great mystery for Whiskers. It was a bit dark inside, even when the door was open a crack. It smelled of old wood and interesting tools. Sometimes little mice might hide in there. Whiskers was always hopeful. He would peep through the crack in the door. His ears would prick up, listening for tiny squeaks. The shed was definitely one of his top places to explore. He thought it held many secrets. One bright morning the sun woke Whiskers up. It tickled his nose through the window. He blinked his green eyes open. He stretched his front paws out very far. Then he stretched his back paws out even further. He gave a big, sleepy yawn. It was time for another day of adventures. He jumped down from the soft bed. He trotted to the kitchen for his breakfast, a little bit of crunchy food, and then he was ready. Ready for whatever the day might bring. He pushed the cat flap with his head. Boing! He was in the garden. The grass was still a little damp with dew. It felt cool on his paws. The birds were singing their morning songs. Cheep cheep, tweet tweet. The flowers were all different colors. Bright red roses and sunny yellow daisies. Whiskers took a deep sniff of the fresh morning air. It smelled lovely. He felt very happy and bouncy. He decided to have a little explore around the flower beds. Suddenly he saw something move. It was a butterfly, a very beautiful butterfly. Its wings were blue and yellow. They fluttered so delicately. It danced in the air, just above a big rose bush. Whiskers stopped. His eyes grew wide. He had never seen such a pretty butterfly before. It seemed to be teasing him. It flew a little closer, then a little further away. Whiskers crouched down low. His tail twitched with excitement. He had to catch that butterfly. "I must have it," thought Whiskers. Or perhaps he thought something similar in cat thoughts. He wiggled his bottom from side to side, getting ready for the perfect pounce. He was very still, like a little statue. Only the tip of his tail moved. The butterfly didn't seem to notice him. It was busy with a big pink flower. Whiskers took a tiny step forward. Then another. Closer and closer he crept. He gathered all his energy for a big leap. The butterfly suddenly fluttered upwards. Higher and higher it went. It flew right over the big wooden fence, the fence at the bottom of Whiskers' garden. Whiskers didn't stop to think. He just followed. With a mighty leap, he was up on the fence. And then, with another little jump, he was down on the other side. Oh dear, he blinked. This was not his garden. This was a new garden. He had never been over that fence before. He looked around. The grass was different here. The flowers were different colors too. It was all a bit strange. He felt a tiny bit worried. Just a little bit. Where was his cozy house? Where was his familiar garden shed? He looked for the blue and yellow butterfly, but it was gone. It had vanished completely. Perhaps it flew over another fence, or maybe it hid in a tall tree. Whiskers sat down and washed his face with his paw, thinking what to do next. Then, he saw something bright red. It was hiding under a bush. What was it? He crept closer, very cautiously. His whiskers twitched, testing the air. It was a ball, a big red bouncy ball. He had never seen such a wonderful ball before. He gave it a little pat with his paw. It rolled. He patted it again, a bit harder. It rolled further. This was much more fun than chasing a silly butterfly. He pounced on the ball. He batted it. He chased it all around the new garden. He chased the red ball under a rose bush. He chased it behind a garden gnome. He was having such a lovely time. He had quite forgotten about being in a new garden. He had forgotten about the butterfly too. Then, he heard a familiar sound. Whiskers. Whiskers. Where are you? It was his person calling him. He pricked up his ears. Home! He ran towards the sound. He found a little gap under the fence. He squeezed through, and there he was, back in his own garden. He ran to his person, purring very loudly. He was very happy, and just a little bit tired from his adventure.